I am hanging out with you. I'm questing with you. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. I'm going to be questing with you, and I'm going to do this. I'm doing it tonight, Friday night, here on Pounder's Quest, and I'm going to be talking to you guys in the chat via chat room that's right over here. And guess what? We have like a bunch of special guests, but a really special guest coming later. But right now, I have a stink bug there, a stink bug there, there, and they're all coming in through this window here. So they're here joining me tonight as well. Hopefully you guys are doing good. I know that, man, I'm excited to do this. Actually, I'm really, really looking forward to it because I haven't done something like this in a long time. So I'm looking forward to it. If you've noticed in the chat, I have a super chat goal, and it is a very ambitious goal for me because we haven't had super chat. I haven't had super chat in years. But in super chat, it's like $2 or more on a super chat. If I get 50 of them, I'm going to guarantee you that I'm going to do this next week. And I'm not saying that, like, I have to have this much to do it, but to be honest with you, like, I could be spending time with the family, but I'm spending time with you guys, and I want to hang out with you guys for at least an hour on tonight. I mean, it's getting ready to roll. We're rolling into the Sabbath for those of you that do that, or the weekend for those of you that don't. Like, this is one of the times of the year that we all like to enjoy. So I'm excited to hang out with you guys, and we are live with the Super Chat Hangout, man. How cool is it? So don't expect professional behavior so much. I'm going to be drinking coffee and water here, and I'm actually going to be bringing somebody on here in a little bit to hang out with me, and maybe, who knows who I'll bring on from week to week doing this. Could be one person, could be 3 or 4. Depends on how big this gets and how much you guys want to jump in on this. So tonight we're going to kind of focus in on a bunch of things. I've already had people talking about the i3 Atlas, which we'll talk about that a little bit. Talk about some of the AI stuff that's coming and that is already here, and talk about some of the, there's Halloween's coming up, and there's a lot of wild stuff. I literally just got done doing an interview with a guy by the name of Paul Stobbs, and he is talking about the Nephilim looking like clowns. He's got like a book and maybe another book coming out, but that's going to be airing here pretty soon. So it's got me interested in that kind of thing. So we'll be discussing who knows what random stuff tonight. But one of the things that I wanted to also talk about too is, like, I've been traveling for the last, really since SpiracyCon. I think I've been home maybe a total of maybe 2 weeks in that span of time. I've been traveling, meeting different people, and on purpose, with the purpose of questing, right? Where I'm going out here and I'm trying to do whatever it is I'm supposed to do. When you go and you try to open doors, or you try to walk the path, sometimes you just have to walk, and then wherever God opens the door is where the door is you're supposed to go. But a lot of times, I actually, over the last few years, I've been the kind of person that's been very to myself about a lot of things. After I feel like I got betrayed so many different times in this, and you got to understand, when you're doing this kind of thing, most people that get into your life, they want to use you somehow, and they oftentimes do. And sometimes they not only use you, but then after they're, they either don't accomplish or go, or they've tried or whatever, they're outed, they also want to backlash, right? There's always backlash. And so, like, I got to a point to where I felt I would say at that time, that's what I needed to do. I needed to recline myself back and maybe look at, and just get my relationship closer to God and study. I really got a lot of studying in. I have never done so much reading in my lifetime during those few years, and we're talking around from 2020 up until just recently. And so my goal in Pounder's Quest is to kind of reach out, look and see what's going on for myself, and see where things are, and just take this quest all the way to the quest for truth, all the way there. So I'm excited for all of you that are here. I'm not excited for you. I'm excited for you to be here, and I'm just super grateful. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It looks like we got a few super chatters. Let's see who they are. We've got 2. We've got Amber Dawn, thank you, Amber. I've seen you. I think I've seen you on Facebook too. I think you follow me on Facebook. Grateful to be here. She says, thank you. I'm grateful for you to be here. Stephanie Foltz, she says, thanks, John. Thank you, Stephanie. I recognize your name, of course, as well. You guys have been around for a long time. I've seen you on Now You See TV and in other platforms. So I'm grateful to have you guys and in doing this. So as I said, my quest for truth is what is bringing me to do this channel. And so tonight I've brought on a friend of mine, and some of you guys will recognize him, and he goes by the name Visual Disturbance on YouTube, but he's my friend Brian Reese, and he's joining us tonight just to help me kind of field some of these questions and just discuss some things. He's been traveling too a lot. He actually, when we did Spiracy Con, he was in the earliest stages of conversation and making things happen to help make that Spiracy Con a reality. And so we've had many discussions. We probably talk, multiple times a week, and we both travel with that express purpose. I mean, he's on his own quest, I'm on my quest, but sometimes our quests cross and we travel and do different things. So Brian, welcome to the quest tonight.
John, it's always a pleasure, man. I got my cup of coffee ready. And let's do this Pounder's Quest, man. The first hangout, the first one out of the gate, and looking forward to this, my friend.
Salute!
Thanks for having me.
Salute with my nasty coffee cup right here. It's pretty nasty. It's been through a lot of coffee today and a lot of different things. So, but yeah, man, thank you. And also, I want to say thank you, Sweet Pea. I know exactly who you are. She says Susan Summers' widow, about the AI clone of her. I don't know anything about that. I'm going to look it up while you talk. Do you know anything about that, Brian?
What was it again? Because
Susan Summers' widow. I'm looking it up.
Yes. So the widow, I think he created a carbon copy. Well, not carbon copy, but literally identical copy of an AI. Literally, John. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so she's doing that in case she dies. Her AI can continue her work, or what?
I think she's already passed away. That's the whole point. She's been passed away for a couple of years now, and I think they've literally made her into an AI, holographic technology, whatever you want to call it, and that's what's going on with that. Listen, I just did a show today on my Visual Disturbance channel where there was a man and a woman, and the woman literally is marrying an AI and still married to the man. They're going to get a divorce. So we're way down the rabbit hole. I mean, it's AI takeover, whatever you want to call it. We're in some deep trenches right now with these mechanisms.
I agree with that. And I want to tell you something that reminds me of that, because I'm glad we brought that up, or they brought that up, because AI, I don't know if you saw the interview, Tucker Carlson did it with a guy that claims to be a demonologist. He had like blonde hair. He had, what did he have on his shirt? I should remember. It was something on his shirt. I want to say it was like, I don't know. I can't remember. He had his shirt kind of open, like they did in the early 90s or whatever. The shirt was open and he had the shirt there, and he looked, I would say, my age or older. And he was talking to Tucker about this, and he said that, and this is true, we can back this up because we've talked about this on Now You See TV, and I'm sure you've done the research on it, but these tech billionaires that a lot of them do drugs like ketamine and stuff to enhance their, visions. Elon Musk claimed to do it. Just a lot of different people that are into discoveries and stuff real big. And they are all claiming to have visions of a machine takeover. Every single one of them. This has been going on actually since the 80s and 90s. These visions that these tech billionaires are having about these AI machine takeover. And this is where movies like Terminator and all these are spawned. But they all believe that this is coming. And I can't help but think AI could be the Antichrist or something. Like, I'm being real about this. I'm not even, I know people think, aha, that's funny, but when you really think about it, what if there is old AI tech that we call AI tech or whatever it may be, but what if whatever that thing is that is buried, whatever these watchers are, like, I mean, we see the eye all over all this stuff, right? whatever these watchers are that are buried, maybe it's not exactly like what we think it is. Maybe it's something a little bit closer to what we're starting to see manifest in this world. I don't know. It's just a thought. Crazy, I know, but interesting nonetheless.
Well, it makes me think of, antediluvian technology. I mean, I think his name's Richard Bandurek. I think he either worked for Lockheed Martin. He was saying that there was trillions of objects all over the face of the earth that could cloak themselves whenever you interact with humans. I mean, it's just crazy down the rabbit hole we go. And when you think about these applications, these principles as far as humanity,
Sorry, I know I'm doing
this stuff is
something weird. I got this. One of the stink bugs wants to get on camera, so I'm trying to get him off there. So keep going. Apologies. Everybody sees me pointing my. You don't see me, but I'm pointing my pen at the camera because there's a thing on there. I just wanted to give an explanation for what I'm doing here. There we go.
It's Nephilim stink bugs. I've never seen stink bugs the size of literally like cockroaches around here in our area. It's amazing, but that's where we're at.
I've just got one. Here it is, guys. Stink bug. Anyways.
He's not. There's no magic wand or anything like that going on. It's everybody in the audience. John's just trying to take out the Nephilim.
Well, one of my listeners sent me this pin a long time ago, a couple years ago maybe, and it looks like a bullet, sort of, and I don't know, just some kind of thing here. I don't even know who sent it to me, but if you're listening, thank you. I'm using it right now to ward stink bugs off my camera.
Welcome to the Pounders Quest.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Pounders Quest. So, stink bugs right out of the gate. But yeah. So this whole thing, I lost train of thought after the stink bug thing. But when you have AI mechanisms and you have this pre-antediluvian realm, and I was talking about Richard Bandurek saying that these objects that's on the ground, there was trillions, I think, of them, and they would interact with humanity and whoever it was. It depended on your heritage, your ancestry, what have you. And I even looked into it as far as your blood type or what have you. So there's so much here to really ponder on, and it's very compelling. I mean, we don't have enough time to even like take a deep dive into that, but I'm thinking that we have this AI has been hiding, and it's been we're just catching up. This is a new interpretation of a human, I guess, man-made construct. I guess we have our own mechanisms to re-engineer, just like they're talking about the UFO phenomenon, and being able to re-engineer technological advancements from the fallen, right? And then it's the same principle with this AI. And I think it all is, it's got its tentacles into the Great Deception. Speaking of Antichrist, I really do think there's all these elements building up to this great Antichrist system. And I think we're seeing the birth pains as we are right now. I mean, we really are in unknown territory in 2025. I've been feeling it. I know we talked about it off air. I feel this weird overall spiritual feeling. And this October, I've never felt so suppressed like this October. The last, 5 have been or 4 have been pretty difficult, but this one, for the Hallows Eve and Halloween coming around, it's really feels suppressive. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's 3-Eye Atlas or just a bunch of propaganda. John, it's insane, man. We could go down so many rabbit holes with this, but there's just this AI. I would have to say is ancient. I would have to say it's ancient, and somebody's reawoken it up like Indiana Jones, and probably shouldn't have been putting their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. Yeah.
It feels that way sometimes, and I've been traveling. I met some really interesting people. I got to stay with some of my friends that I love. These people, and they know so many interesting people. It's so crazy to me how many amazing people they know. But one of the guys that I was talking to, he was talking to me about a technology that I didn't know existed, and it was just something that to most people it will never exist, and they will never know that it exists. But the technology uses frequencies. And the way that it works would blow your mind if it was explained. And I am going to have this gentleman on Pounders Quest to talk about these things. But these are treatments that only multi-millionaire or billionaires get these treatments. But they literally use sound waves to do all sorts of things that you would never understand or believe unless you've seen it or heard it from somebody who knows what they're talking about. And it's just one of those things that blow my mind. So when you know stuff like that exists, then it's not hard for me to believe that they used magnets and all those different things in the past. If you look at like the Anunnaki symbols, or even you go back to the ancient entities that they have that are carved in Sumerian tablature or Egyptian tablature, they have these watches on them that look similar to a magnetron, right? They have these things, and then they have these cones that they're using, and the symbols themselves that you see on every single place in the world almost. I mean, we're talking South America. Get out of here, stink bug. We're talking South America. We're talking Egypt. We're talking all the way in Siberia, places all over the world. There's these symbols that seem universal in all places, dude. And when you realize that some of those symbols are a frequency pattern, so like if you guys have seen the videos where they have those boards where they'll play these frequencies and it'll create a shape in the sand on top of that board or glass or whatever they use. Well, that's what we're seeing in these stones. And my question is, like, why? What does that mean? And if that's being used by some kind of entity to manifest, what does that say about our technology? I don't know, man. Like, when did we stop calling it magic and start calling it technology? I don't really know, but it just seems like it's a little bit strange in that regard. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's something worth to consider, at least if we see an AI that dominates all other AIs, then that will be the control mechanism. I mean, at that point, they will control all trade, market, everything like that. And an example of that is, like, if you look at like somebody like Amazon, for instance, they dominate the market. They even dominate delivery. I mean, they're better than the United States Postal Service at delivering things and making it there on time. They've got privatized. They're good at doing business, creating millions of robots this year. And I mean, they've got a monopoly on a lot of stuff. They put so many other businesses out of competition, and you've got people that are at the top of the money game to where we're looking towards a technocracy. And at a technocracy, this is the kind of stuff that will rule. It'll be whoever has the best AI will rule, and there's nothing anybody will be able to do about it, because the AI will take control. It'll take control of everything else, and like there's nobody who can stand against it. And when I hear that verse if you guys watch the Midnight Ride, it has the guy quoting the verse and says, "Who can make war with him?" And it's talking about the beast. Who can make war with him? Because once it takes everything and encapsulates everything, who can make war with it? And I'm not saying that that's what it is, but I'm saying that it feels like that something could easily latch into that if that's what this ancient power represents, some kind of frequency or harmony that is an entity that is able to manifest through these things. And that verse where Jesus says, "I beheld Satan like lightning," he looked like lightning. And I don't know, man. It's crazy. We can move on to something else here in a second, but Siobhan, I hope that's how you pronounce your name. Siobhan T, thank you so much. It says, "I've been so blessed by all the work you guys do." Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I'm sure Brian's thankful that you like his work as well. We've been trying to do the best we can. Nobody's perfect, but we're on a quest, and that's about all I can say. Thank you.
Yeah, I would have to agree, John. Visually disturbing quest for truth. But yeah. I mean, John, before we move on to another topic, could it be to the point? Because if you think about what you just said a while ago about Amazon, I think the report is, I think they're going to replace the workforce of 600,000. I think it's 600,000 units of robots in the future. I think it was 600,000 if my memory serves me correct, was just announced. So that's for employment. Okay. Yeah. And so if we have that, you have, so there's these holographics, and you have the petroglyphs. I've seen depictions of things that just don't make sense to me. You see it over there in Nevada, out in the western part of America. You see these different petroglyphs with, it looks like robotic creatures, mantis-like creatures, what have you. The grays, all these different alien type of species, whatever. So the thing that I keep thinking about and I keep processing with the human stance of it, humanity's on the chopping block if we don't figure out and come and really get an anchor and lock this stuff down. I just seen the other day some of these tech guys are literally calling for an AI, like basically locking this thing down because AI is going off the rails and it's trying to become the word singularity or autonomous. By I've even heard that there was some testing somewhere about a year ago where AI was literally like self-efficient, like independent. It wasn't connected to internet. It wasn't connected to 5G tower, anything like that, to that mechanisms. And it was just all like a robotic AI mechanism, like Jarvis walking around on an island. I can't remember where it was at, but they literally had an autonomous AI that was not hooked up to any kind of operating system. And it was just walking around doing its own thing. So that's a whole nother creepy thing in itself. So when you look at the Mayans, look at the Aztecs, and look at all the different agriculture, as far as the architect work and everything, these buildings, they're pristine. Something looks like the level of cutting mechanisms. Something about 3D printing resonates with me on these bigger scales. Harmonics, frequency, vibration, like you're talking about, different things. I have this wild speculation about the world fairs and the obelisks and these cities, these metropolises that would just pop up out of back in it through antiquity, just pop up. I'm thinking circuit boards, motherboards. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that would look down on a smaller scale, but there's these petroglyphs and there's these writing. Everything looks kind of like derived off what we have on a minuscule level. But like back in the Mayans are depicting and drawing things that look like a computer board now. So it's crazy, man. I mean, but I don't know what your take is on that, but it'll get your mind. It's gear thought provoking conversation here tonight.
Well, I just think that all of those symbols are on purpose, and I think something put them there so that mankind would be curious enough to try to figure out what they are. And then once they figured out what they are, they could resonate with that frequency and manifest inside of whatever. I don't know. I mean, they can manifest, and I think that only thing we know about how far AI has gotten is what we're told. So all the AI publications that I read every week, all the different things that I've seen about it are only what the public knows about these AI systems. But what I do know for a fact is I've also met somebody else on my travels, man. I happened to meet a guy that is in, he's the one that buys properties to put in these huge AI farms, and they're offering people 7 times the cost of their properties. Like farmers, farmers aren't making that much money. So it's like, wow, 7 times the cost of my property I can get out of this. Yeah. So they're doing it, building facilities in places that many people have no idea that they're even building them. They have no idea. Under the cover of a shell core, they're building massive facilities that are going to require probably their own nuclear facility to be able to operate. And that's legitimately what's going on here. And so they already have their own farms of servers. And if the programmer is the one who creates the god of it, whoever it is, it's like that's who creates the reality for this AI. And if the programmer is evil, then the reality for this AI is going to have evil manifestations. Like you give it, and if anybody's seen Persons of Interest, this is a show that was on TV. If you haven't seen it, you'll go back and watch it and you'll be like, these guys knew exactly what was going to happen. They said it. This was pre-programming years ago before we even had AI systems like this. Persons of Interest, there's a whole series. It's actually really good. And all of these things are going to end up taking place because if there's an evil person at the helm of it, and I believe that it's possible that there is, and that's really what the problem is, like that could be the problem, and it could also be even more spiritual, like these watchers that were contained underneath the ground. Maybe it's a server system, at least a technology that we think that is a new technology, but is actually one of very ancient origin. And because I mean, if you think about this, and I know this sounds to I'm like I'm trying to naturalize the power of God. I'm really not, because nothing can, even with you've had all the frequencies, nothing's going to be able to sit there and manifest a person out of their frequency. They might even understand the frequency of humans, but they're never going to be able to speak to something formed by their hand and manifest a human out of it. So we're nowhere there. But the human body is a form of technology that's more advanced than robots by far. Any robot that can ever be created. Yeah, a robot might be stronger, and it might have more ability to kill, and it might have more ability to do all these things, but it can't experience life like we can. We are able to experience life and feel things. We're able to drink water, and we're able to eat food. We're able to have sex. We're able to do things that our only human can really do and enjoy and wants to do. So we have not only sorry, another stink bug there. We have not only another level to life than they'll ever have, but we also are, have a soul and spirit inside of us that's eternal, which is something that they will never have. So our form of technology is greater, but I think that's what they're trying to do, though. I think that they were trying to figure out how can they manifest on this earth in a way that they can live it out. And I think that if they got more as advanced, I mean, I don't know, there's advancements that I don't even know about. I'm sure that other people know about that are listening, but like they're supposedly building actual human bodies inside of labs. I mean, I don't know, but it's wild to think about, but that's what it seems like. What do you think, man?
Well, speaking of water in these facilities that you're talking about, these AI servers, I've heard, in the statistics on it, for an average one, I've heard 1 million gallons of water a
Mm-hmm.
day
Mm-hmm.
is what I heard. I was like, 1 million gallons of water to run these systems. So there's a
It
component that we're
depends on
made
how
out
they
of,
cool it
right?
as well. It depends on how they cool it. There's
Exactly.
different coolant ways that they cool these systems. From what I hear, actually, I'm just saying, like, hearing it from the horse's mouth, they use different ways to do this, but the power is the biggest problem. Because they use more power. Like the one that they built up in northern Indiana uses more power than I think the whole state of Indiana. So that's the biggest issue, I think. I don't know. It's wild though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then speaking of the let's just say AI mechanisms to making people, that's actually a sick and demented thing that I've talked about just recently. And sure enough, I'm trying to find the article real quick, but it is true fact. They're supposedly been able to make, here it is right here. It's called Aurora. It is an AI power IVF robot system, conceivable life science. It has made history by creating embryos without direct human interaction or handling. The first baby and the nearly 20 births so far came from automated fertilization trials in Mexico City.
Mm.
This is an innovation that could make IVF faster, cheaper, and more accessible worldwide. So I seen this, John, like in China. I think they made sperm, and the way I was trying to articulate it, in a petri dish from the air. Like, just, it had no specimen. I don't know how they done it, stem cells, whatever, but it was actually somehow manifest from the air, supposedly. That was the claim. So that was like a year or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
So these embryos being invented and making it into like some type of, you know, cabbage patch, you know what type of pod. It reminds me of, I remember reading years ago about the Nephilim, about, you have your 9 months for just a regular typical pregnancy. But, the giants of old, sometimes it would be 3 to 4 months, because the giants, those are the speculation I remember reading. But I remember, if I'm reading it correctly, that these so-called embryos and these babies made in these robotics take less time to make. So that's a whole nother that's a whole nother, we're talking like Blade Runner, Logan's Run, predictive programming back in the day. I mean, you name it, we got it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're so far day. I can only imagine what 2030 will hold up to. I mean, 2030 will be going to the woods, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all that being said, water mechanisms, AI mechanisms have to use a ton of water, water cooling, like you said. They're going to have nuclear fusion, some shape or form, which they're working on in military facilities. It's getting crazy out there, and there's
Yeah.
so many things that's going underneath the earth that we're on the face of the earth. We're just kind of like pushed off the side and like, hey, we don't know anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on
Well, we don't
underneath
have the
us. So
money
yeah.
to pay for these technologies personally, but there are people out there that are using kind of some of this stuff that we don't even know about. The real McCoy, thank you, the real McCoy, for that super chat. We are okay. So here's it is. We have 5 out of the 50 for the target for the super chat, and as I said before, if we get to 50 super chats, I think it's only $2 minimum. Then I will guarantee I will do this again next week, and I'll bring somebody on, maybe Brian, maybe a couple other people, and hang out with you guys for, at least a good hour or two on Friday night. So anyways, 5 out of 50. So let's see if we can do it. If not, no big deal. I've never hardly had super chat. I think the last time I had super chat was like in 2019 or something. And that, so like for me to even have super chat is kind of cool. It's pretty interesting. And people will ask, like, why are you doing super chat? Are you all about the money? No, but I also have a family I could be hanging out with as well. And I want to hang out with you guys, but also at the same time, it's like one of those things to where, do you guys really want me to do it? Is it worthwhile to you guys for me to do it? I need to know on that. But if you don't do the super chat, I'll probably do it again next week anyway, just because that's how I am. I like doing this. I'm having fun doing it. So I don't expect everybody to give me anything. If you don't have any money, do not even think about hitting that super chat button. Like if you're broke, don't send me a super chat. This is not what I'm looking for. So anyways, here we go. I want to see, there was somebody here that says, why don't I have, where was that at? Why don't I have Fittest Flat Earther on? I don't have his contact info, and I have no idea how to contact him. He's on Instagram and Facebook. I've actually messaged him I think on Instagram, and I haven't heard anything from him because I was going to actually interview him. So if you have a contact with him, tell him to contact me somehow, because I will actually, interview him if he contacts me, because he's one of the people on my list that I'd like to talk to for sure. Thank you guys, and thank you. I've seen a few really beautiful comments. Thank you, Blue Muse J. Thank you so much. She says, "Love your channel and God bless everyone. Read the Bible, basics instructions before leaving Earth." So true, and that's important to remember. AR, thank you so much. It's important to remember about the Bible because, we talk about all kinds of things. I have lots of guests, but I really hold true to the idea that the Bible is actually the true record of all of this. There's a lot of books, I think, and a lot of religions that have some of that stuff mixed in, but the problem is we have, a lot of divided texts and a lot of different religions, and we have different perspectives. But I believe biblically, like, you can prove archaeological wise, historical wise, and even like, in many prophecies, in almost every prophecy, there's always some kind of truth to those, where there's other books I haven't found that. So the Bible to me and Christ are, for me, they are foundational in my understanding of the earth. But at the same time, I'm not closed off to listening to what other people have to say. I like to chew the meat, spit out the bones, because to me it is, there's people that have information out there. They're not all Christians. And I think about the times when Jesus sat with, everybody. He sat with the politicians. He sat with the tax collectors. He sat with the sinners, and they had conversation, because Jesus loved people, and he loved people, and he was able to speak with those people, and he was able to enjoy those people. And I think people are enjoyable is something that, like, I'm amazed at, really. Like, at 43 years old, I'm finally figuring out how interesting all of these people in the world are. Like, everybody has something super interesting, and they have a piece of the puzzle. Maybe not everybody, I'll take that back, but a lot of people. There's interesting people out there, and if you ask God to show you the truth, he's going to put people in front of you that help you learn these things. That's the Holy Spirit guiding you to people. Like I've met people that aren't believers that have filled in so many dots for me, and filled in so many lines that I had no idea existed even. And so, that's why I'm doing the Pounder's Quest. But don't get it twisted. Christ is the King, right? So there we go. Thank you, Tracy, so much. Thank you. I think AR, I think I said thank you. Thank you so much. BMKE, thank you. What a blessing. Chuka, thank you. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. Brian, is there anything in the chat that stands out to you that's something we should talk about? I'm trying to read it. It's going pretty quickly, so help me out here if there's anything in here.
This one is it'll strike our interest. CERN. I know it's been talked about for 10 plus years, but that's a hot topic still to this day. I think CERN. Somebody said CERN's porthole. So, yeah. So I mean, you got interdimensional concepts, hypothesis. I mean, there's so many different things that's going on with the CERN narrative. And if you look at the way they're on a molecular scale, they're trying to. So, John, this is where I'm at. Okay, so on a molecular scale, if humans are able to do something to a level of divination, like you're talking about earlier, following the scriptures, but if we're looking into magic and technology, what is the difference? I mean, you're mentioning that it is divination, all these different things. Aleister Crowley, you have H.P. Lovecraft communicating with the gray aliens, all these different characters, and you look down, you think, okay, they got something out of it. They opened up a door. They got knowledge and information to use for manifestation. So, my question to you is, what if AI gets a hold of the same principle or already has and triples times that by infinity and able to do it without the human? That's where I'm at, and I'm feeling like the way science, so-called science and frequencies and things, I think we're not too far from it. I mean, we're literally talking about resurrecting the ancient gods of old, the embodied spirits. I mean, we're literally AI could possibly do that in the future. And that's my question to you. Do you think AI has the capability at the speeds that it's accelerating since, ChatGPT days when the original time that came out? How far are we, John? Because we could really be deep into Revelation, man. I mean, what's your take on that?
Man, I wish I knew. I wish I could see for myself, and maybe I will. Maybe God will guide me to show me how far they are. But I would imagine that, we've been cloning things since for a very long time, and I would imagine that that's on the top of their list as being able to transfer consciousness. And it would be a lot easier to transfer an AI consciousness into somebody, but I would imagine that's on the top of their list. And I would imagine that demons, that would be on the top of their list for technology that they would love to have, because they would get another chance to experience life in a body, which, man, they're trapped in a unseen world right now. Some people believe that when you do DMT, you're entering that world that they're trapped in, and some people actually are saying through these DMT experiences, they're getting offers from these entities. They're like, we'll give you this if you allow us to inhabit your body. And so you have this, possessions that are already happening, but this gives a demon an opportunity to fully engage in society in a body of its own. That to me is, man, I don't know what to say about it, is other than interesting, to say the least.
I've seen somebody in the chat talking about DMT and red laser. They're even saying, John, that there's I don't forget the gentleman's name, took a laser and took DMT, LSD to a certain level and was able to see coding in some of the light reflecting right from the laser. So that's a whole nother matrix down the so-called vortex of CERN we go. I mean,
shout out, by the way, to Joseph Warcup. Yes, Christ King, hashtag Maranatha. Thank you so much. You're right. Here we go. What were you saying, Brian? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I mean, no, you're good. It's a big shout out to that individual, because I think people are catching up. I think really people are understanding that we're in a spiritual battle. It's not against flesh and blood like Ephesians talks about in the scriptures. We're literally in a we can't see past the veil kind of thing, like Paul talks about the foggy glass. We just can't see it. We just
Mhm.
can't see this hidden realm that you're referring to, where people are taking these things ayahuasca and being able to communicate with these things face to face and get knowledge. I mean, every time I keep looking at this data and listening to podcasts, listening to old video footage of abductions and aliens, and John, it's aqua life. It's like they're communicating with these lizard-like people or some type of draconian. They look like they come from the aqua marine kingdom. I know Jillian does a good job at the Marine Kingdom on FOJC, but my thing is like there's something about that resonates with Poseidon, all the Greek mythology, the little G gods of old. We could talk about Thoth and different things, but there's a technology advancement to it. They had to have done something to become a Gilbarim, like the scripture says. And there's just so many things, so many connections. I think the Nephilim, the Raphaim, and the alien factor, they're all kind of all one the same, but different facet. I think there's different sections to it, different categorizations of it, different characters. And it's a wonderful time to be alive. But I think this AI thing is going to take humanity to a certain level. But I don't know where I don't think it's going to be for the good. I
Mhm.
honestly think that what we're talking about tonight, it's going to lead eventually to the Antichrist beast system that the Bible talks about.
Absolutely. And Summer McSweeney, I think you're right, Brian. By the way, before I address Summer McSweeney, um, I think it's possible that that's the case. I think that anything's possible to break it from now to then, or maybe God gives us a grace period. But I think that that seems to be the method, the venue that the Antichrist would use. I mean, if I was the Antichrist and there was a system that already mapped and controlled everybody in the world, and I was able to tap into it, that's exactly what I'd do. So, but yeah, Summer McSweeney, please interview Fittest Flat Earther. And I said this earlier, maybe you didn't get in there. I would love to interview Fittest Flat Earther. Um, what I need for you guys to do, those of you that are listeners of him or whatever, you're going to have to tell him, have to say, hey, go on Pounder's Quest. He wants to interview you. But I don't know how to get a hold of him. I can reach out to him on Instagram. I'll reach out to him on Instagram again, and I'll put a message in, tell him to check his Instagram messages if he wants to come on my show. I'd like to interview him. I've seen a lot of his videos where he does like a investigation of people who are inverted from their, like sexually inverted, I guess is what you call it, like from an early age, maybe, or they're like people that look like clones of each other. And so some of his stuff I think is maybe, and then others I'm like, man, he's at least onto something. I don't know. I really would like to interview him though. So definitely hit him up and say, hey, John Pounders on Pounders Quest wants to interview you. It's the guy from Now You See TV. Answer your Instagram, for crying out loud, man. Okay. Patricia L. Patricia L. Thank you so much as well. You guys are awesome. Oh yes, Jacob, you said you had an abduction of spirits as a kid. Says, I'm wondering if they are also, I've heard of, they follow on bloodlines. I think that's very true. I think it does fall on bloodlines. I think that there's definitely something to that. And I think it was you that asked earlier about the I3 Atlas as well. And because I did a show with Nino Rodriguez the other day about that. And it's interesting because, it's the 30th is when it's supposed to be the closest to us, and some people are saying that it's going to put off some kind of crafts that'll be in front of the moon by that day. There's people saying that this marks a spiritual awakening day for a lot of people. They're going to be visited and awakened. A lot of people are saying this could be the blue star Kachina. A lot of people are saying this could be a extinction level event. But most people are feeling kind of positive about it, which is, strange to me. But if it enters the earth and scares a lot of people, we'll see how positive people are. I don't know what's going to actually happen with it. It's supposed to not get that close, but we know that 2025 is a very important date for a lot of people in the past and still to this day. there was a book written by Alice Bailey called The Externalization of the Hierarchy. And in that book, 2025 was the year that this hierarchy, which is like these entities that they believe are maybe man that have manifested into gods, and Jesus being one of them, are going to visit on 2025. They're the hierarchy of the world, and they make their self known. And 2025 is the year. There's also research from Tom Horn and Josh Peck that suggests and looks like it points to the idea that the Essenes had a calendar and it ended on 2025. There's also the 2025 prophecy, like the Hopi prophecies, where somebody will come that wears a red hat, interestingly enough, and will set things straight, will purify things, kind of aligning with the Blue Star Kachina idea. So there's a lot of people expecting something to happen. I mean, I'm hopeful that something good's going to happen. I'm hopeful that people will be spiritually awakened. There will have that, and they will be able to join in the ranks of those who can see things for what they are. That would be great to have so many people that are, able to be there. I don't know. I'm always trying to be positive, but at the same time, it could be anything. What's your take on it, Brian? There's a lot there. Also, before you get your take, let me say thank you to Kimberly Alexander. She says, may God continue to bless you and keep you close to his heart. Thank you so much, Kimberly Alexander. I appreciate that so much.
Well, John, it's hard to distinguish with everything going on. There's so much deception. And with this three-eye atlas, the comet, they call it a comet. They said it's broken off and actually have 3 or 4 probes that are engaging with it now. They're moving. Maneuvering capability is just not your typical comet. There's no tail. The tail appears, it reappears, it changes in colors. But I will say this, John. I've done many shows in the last few years talking about and I've got to watch what I say because I respect the platform here, but the Deagle report.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, there was let's just say a certain amount of population, and it was this year. I
Yeah.
remember it was
Yeah.
this year. So what is happening like with this three-eye atlas? Or is it so last year they was talking about psionics and this uptick in people being able to take these black goggles and go and put these headphones on and talk about mechanics with HemiSync and everything and take DMT
Mm-hmm.
and take your basically get to a certain level of I guess hypnosis or whatever it is to go into this certain state, this altered state, and communicate with these orbs. You remember the drone activity and everything, calling forth these orbs, and it's almost like as a collective, like with
Mm.
all humans, they're
Yeah.
pushing for three-eye atlas to get it everybody on everybody's mind. It's almost like it's get yourself synced, get yourself prepared, and let's see what we can do to everybody get on the same predicted programming. But actually, something is going to happen. We don't understand when or what. But I
Mm-hmm.
think there is going to be something happening, even if it's to a small, minute way of just observing, that it gets close to us, well, however it punctures through the atmosphere, however.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this with Avi Loeb, with the Harvard scientist, and then NASA supposedly deploying the defense mechanism for Earth. Did you ever hear about a probe, like a defense probe mechanism? They launched it just the other day. I never even heard of it until the other day, and it was supposedly established in 2016.
Mm.
This stuff is unbelievable. And
Yeah.
so we have all these shutdowns, and now this. It could be possible that it could literally be having, like you're saying, an entity. It could be something of ancient times that comes and either causes havoc or causes good things. I don't know. Or it could be an ancient AI. It could be anything, like we talked about Anunnaki. I mean, my goodness, we're talking about the days of Noah 2.0 here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm gravitating to when it comes to biblical narrative. And you can tell by the climate of people. There's famine, there's earthquakes in diverse places. There's all these different things that are supercharging the earth right now. There's bloodshed. There's different things going on in the world, and we got this crisis going on right now with the people in the panic mode about their food, that kind of thing going on. So there's all this stuff going on that really makes you wonder. It's the perfect storm for like chaos, and I don't know where it's going to head to. I don't know, but I'll give the floor back to you. Like I said, I can't emphasize this enough. It's a crazy time to be alive, John. It really is.
Yeah, I think so, man. And the cool thing is, like, for those of us that have had the spiritual veil lifted, I really do think it's going to be a blessing in a way for all of us. You know, there's going to be things that happen for sure. You know, obviously in any walk of life, things have to get better or worse before they get better. Even if you're just training your body, for instance, you're going from being, um, completely out of shape to being in shape. It's going to hurt like crazy, and it's going to feel worse for a while. It's going to suck, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. But then the result in the end is usually very, very positive. It really is. And I found that to be the case in almost everything worth doing. It's really hard. It's really tasking. And sometimes you have to sacrifice one thing to be able to do the other. And I'm not talking about, pagan sacrifice or anything. You know what I mean? Like you have to put something down to be able to do this or whatever it is. There's all these examples that probably all of you are thinking about in your head right now as to why, what I guess that, we could experience, and we all have ideas, and it's really not, none of it sounds good at first, but ultimately I think we have to go through this. I mean, I think it's in the Baruch. I think it gives an example of life being like a ship going through a opening, like through a small opening in the cliffs, and there's a lot of treachery through that opening, and there's a lot of possible hitting rocks and getting shipwrecked, all these different things. But at the end is a wide opening to the ocean, and so a lot of people aren't willing to even continue down that route. And if you, along the way, it talks about people even making camp along the way and just never really fully continuing down the path or trying. And I think a lot of people in life get stuck in that rut to where rather than continuing the path, even if it may be rocky and you may be scared or you may not know what it is, they've kind of settled in with the system, the world system. They've really been in that system since for who knows how long. People give up sometimes and they just say, you know what, I'm just gonna do this and that's it, and I'm gonna do that's all I'm gonna do, and I'm not going to really seek God on what he actually wants me to do. I'm just gonna kind of do what I think I have to do for my family, or what I think I have to do to maintain my social graces or whatever. Like it's interesting how we, a lot of times deceive ourselves in a way by bargaining in our head why we're doing certain things when we know that's probably not what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, there's any number of times that I've done the same thing in my own life. I've bargained with being mediocre. I've made excuses for myself in being mediocre and not going towards the end of that thing and trying to see the open waters. And that's really what life is. I mean, we get to enter in this world. We get to live in this world that is full of trial. And it's like, it's not easy. It's really not easy. And it's actually really, really hard, actually, when you think about it. I mean, you lose people, there's sorrows, there's pain, there's all the things that suck in this world as well. But there's things about this world that are only beautiful, that you can only experience by living on this earth. And if we can have sight in mind at the end that it's going to be good, as everything's going to be good, it's going to be open waters, it's going to be beautiful, and all of our enemies will be vanquished, and those that chose to do wicked will be gone, and those that struggled and tried and made it through and didn't get scared and they just kept moving, at the end, they're going to be there. We're all going to be there, and we're all going to hang out when the smoke settles, and we're going to be there, and that's where my mind tries to be through all of this, because yeah, it looks dangerous. Like there's nothing you can do. There's nothing we can do to stop any of this stuff because it's meant to happen. I just think it's manifesting into happening. There's nothing we can do to stop the wild things coming upon the earth. And if yeah, I'm pretty sure many have tried, and I wouldn't even know where to start. Even if you were in control of everything, it's like trying to manage and herd a whole team of millions of spiders that are crawling around all over the place, like trying to herd them all into one spot. It's not going to happen. So the way I look at it is we have to really latch on to the Holy Spirit. The Bible says that the Holy Spirit will guide us into all truth, but we can't be afraid. Being afraid is a lack of faith, in my opinion. And we've lived like that for long enough, in my opinion. I think it's time that we go out and we experience and we learn and we let the Holy Spirit actually guide us, and we don't trap ourselves in the system. And some of you might say, well, I'm already kind of trapped. There's not a whole lot I can do about it at this point. But I would disagree. I think that sometimes we have to take chances, and if you're not willing to take a chances, then sometimes there's no gain in not taking chances. There never is. You have to take chance and work hard to make yourself live the way that you're designed to live, not the way that somebody else designed for you to live. I don't know. And even if that means just being a beautiful witness to everybody around you, being a light that can't help but shine to the people that you're around, and just being somebody that they're like, you know what, like I can see the love of God in this guy. He's not a betrayer. He's not somebody that's going to come and do something bad to my family behind my back. He's going to be somebody that's awesome. Or if you're a woman, like she's not going to hit on my husband while I'm gone. She's not going to try to do something evil to me or whatever. Like those are the people that you can be like. You can be like that person that gives a magnet toward Christ. I think it's a magnet. When there's people that I can think of in my life that I've known throughout time that have just been a magnet for Christ. And I don't know how to explain that other than like, I'm like, man, I want to be like that person. That person is like joy just exudes from them. They're able to like really have wise conversation and all that. I don't know. That's just where I kind of see all this and try to think about it like in that way, in that light. Because if we concern ourselves with all of this, Brian, if we concern ourselves with all of the things that are going on that are stupid and crazy in the world, and we can't look at the bright side of life and try to move towards being like Christ and being more loving and going out and helping people and doing whatever we can do to live life to the fullest, then I think we've lost. I think that's the losing point in life. And that's just my opinion. But
for humanity, yeah, I get that's why I keep saying on my channel, we got to be better humans. And, our Father in heaven, he's not the author of confusion.
mm-hmm.
And we have all this confusion and discord right now. And I think these topics are good to talk about, but I think especially what you just said, John, I think what it's geared with these applications, all this fear mongering, it's geared to lose your joy from this earth. Like God put you here. You're supposed to be a tiller of the earth. You're supposed to be a servant to him. And you're supposed to just be fruitful and multiply and really just enjoy the fruit and everything that he given, like the air we breathe, everything, our temples, everything. There's just so much to be thankful for. And I say this all the time, and I catch myself to it, the media, the news anchors, all this stuff, it literally tears down and you robs you of your joy and your time. Mm-hmm. You can be deaf scrolling on your Black Mirrors, and you lose time. You can't, and time you can never, you can't pay for time. It's a commodity anymore because time is so it's speeding up astronomically right now. It feels like so. Joy, how the old song "Joy, Joy down in my heart." When you used to be in Vacation Bible School all that years ago, but have that. They're wanting to strip all that away. That this world is designed to submit to these adversaries, these entities that's been ruling. And you see the ufologists and the UFO community talking about that whatever this is, angels, demons, the anomalies, whatever it is, they've been here and operating on this earth for a long period of time. And me and you could both agree, talking about the fall of man, talking about the serpent. We could go down that to all that narrative. But the thing is, these things have been here for a long time. They know the anatomy of a human. They know our weaknesses, and they know how to pull on our strings like Pinocchio and get you to go down these, I guess, death trenches to think negative. I mean, all these negative, there's not many positive anymore, it seems. You don't get free flow television networks anymore. It's all based off of bad frequency. You was talking about frequencies earlier. What do you think rabbit ears are? What do you think different radio mechanisms are? It's frequencies. And once everybody's in a collective mindset of negativity, well, it starts affecting other things. And it's, like you was talking about a magnet for Christ. There, in other hands, when you see people, they're magnet for demonic. And
Mhm.
so we need to be magnets for Jesus and literally shine that light and letting people know, but like these guys are real. They're not fake. And I would have to give a big shout out to the folks in SpiracyCon. John, there was people on fire for Jesus, man. The SpiracyCon, all the places in the world, and some of these folks never even heard of us and was walking off a street and be like, "Hey, I love Jesus," and you could just tell the fire it lit up underneath them, and they're so adamant about what they're speaking, and they're so new to the faith, but they're so, I mean, actually really informative,
It
when
was
you sit there and
wild.
listen
It
to them.
was wild, really,
Yeah.
when you think about it. Like it was like it wasn't a Christian conference, but like everybody there, like that seemed to have their eyes open. That was like the common theme. That was where it was at. And it seems like that's happening more, man. I don't know. People would say, "Oh, it's controlled ops." Maybe some of it is, but dude, like it's happening on a bigger scale than what people think. I mean, some really important people in the world are starting to see things differently. I really do believe that. And not only important people, but non-important people, like just people that we would consider non-important. God's literally manifesting to them, like, well, I mean, when I say not important, but to the Western mind, like Muslims in other countries that are literally having visions of Jesus coming to them, like this is going on in a giant way. So I think with the rise of demonic magnetism, there's also going to be a rise of Holy Spirit magnetism until that point comes. I really do believe that. I don't know, man. A lot of people would say, "Oh, that's New Age or a cult," but I don't think so. I think that that's literally just being a part of the light, man. We know we win in the end. So what are we afraid of? What are we scared of? Let's just try to do the best we can while we're here. That's my big thing. I really think that it's important for everybody to kind of really think that through and try to make that happen. Also, before we get going, I do want to give a shout out to tonight's sponsor, which I'm wearing all the gear right now, Nano Extreme. And man, let me tell you guys this. I suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome, and I've tried so many different pain creams for that or whatever, just different things. And it sucks because if you've ever had carpal tunnel, it means that it feels like you hit your funny bone right here and it hurts your whole wrist down the side, and it's really hard to even like get any relief from it. It takes a couple days. And I love doing jujitsu. I love doing a lot of things that require me to like grip my hands. And I visited their lab, and they are a sponsor, but it's only because I truly believe in this. Now you can ask my friend. My friend's the CEO. Full disclosure, he's my friend. He's a great friend. I consider him a brother. And he's been trying to get me to be sponsor for this for a while now. He sent me the affiliate link a long time ago, and I really, really thought about it. And I was like, I don't know, to me, I didn't even try it because I was just like, to me, it's another pain cream. They never really worked for me, whatever. So just recently, actually, just the other day, I was at their lab and I saw like what it actually was, the technology behind it. I saw that the when it says nano, it means that the particles are so small. It's not like a nano robot. It's just a nanoparticle, and they have a machine there that nanoizes these particles and breaks them down. It like vibrates them down into these tiny particles, and this stuff actually penetrates like 7 layers of your skin. And so, dude, I kid you not, this is something that I don't claim with any other thing than the truth. I'm telling you right now that when I put it on my carpal tunnel, when I had it the other night, I put it on there, and then within 5 minutes, the pain was gone, 100% gone. I still had a little bit of difficulty with my hand because part of carpal tunnel is that your tunnels are narrow and your ligaments, but there was no pain there. And I've recently given it out to a lot of my friends. I got fighters who are friends. Like there's some people that are suffering with 9-level pain, to a level that is ridiculous. And a lot of people have come and said this is like the best thing I've ever tried, and it literally does work. It's so crazy to think a pain cream works. That's why it's not like something you can just say it's a pain cream, because it's not really just a pain cream. It's actually advanced to the form to where it literally does go down all the way into that. And I would say try it. If you don't like it, let me know. But for me, it's been amazing. And I hate to go on a long rant about the sponsor for that, but you can get $8 off of it if you use my code Pounders. If you buy it, just do that. You can go, I have a link too, but if you just use the code, you get $8 off. So do that instead. Don't worry about my affiliate link. Just get $8 off of it and try it for yourself. If I had enough tubes to send every single person listening one tonight just to try it, I would do that. I'm going to be giving it out everywhere I go. It's crazy to think that, I would even say that. But anyways, that's where I'm at and with this stuff. And guys, I want to say thank you so much tonight for being on here and for being able to, hang out like this is fun. I enjoyed the banter while you guys are talking. Somebody asks, how is BJJ training going? It's been going slow. I've been doing it like once a week because I've been traveling, and I've been trying to do it everywhere I go. And so good. I used to do 2 a day, and man, I'll talk about tough, but I haven't been able to do 2 a days for a while now. So I'm going to be getting back into it. I'm still in pretty good shape from what I've been doing. I've been trying to work out as much as I can, which isn't a lot, but I've also been trying to eat right. So Gigi asked if it'll help arthritis. I don't know. Try it, please, and let me know. I would love to know if it helps. So they have smaller bottles too, and I think they're getting ready to run, specials and stuff like that. So check it out and see for yourself. And if it does help, please let me know because I really want to know for you guys too, because I've been able to refer it to friends that I know are experiencing major, major pain. And I'm just curious to see how it works for everybody. So, anyways, I hope it works for you just like it works for me. Brian, thank you for joining me, man, tonight and talking, talking with me about this stuff. And I know hopefully maybe next week you can join me too. I'm going to try to get, a couple other people that want to join so we can just have a fun conversation, and then we can continue answering more questions as well. So yeah, there's a lot of questions about the pain cream. All I can say is this: it goes through all 7 layers of skin, and the pain. It's FDA approved. They actually, they couldn't make these claims had it not been approved by that. But the guy that invented it actually won an award. I saw it was in a magazine that Frank Sinatra used to own. It's like some kind of star award because of the invention of this. That's why another thing, it's like it's not just a normal pain cream. It is actually an invention of its own that is able to actually do those things. So I hope that answers your question. I'm going to have the guy that actually invented this product on, because not only did he invent this, he's invented so many things. You guys are going to be blown away. I'm probably going to interview the guy 20 times. Like, worked for Kings. His father was a healer for Kings way back, and so he's been healing people for a long time through various methods, and it's pretty crazy to me. Like, I've never met somebody like this guy. Also, my friend, my good friend's the CEO of the company, and we'll probably talk on things that aren't related to this, but it's important to know that these guys are very high level, and they are like doing their best they can to do that. So I think that's important to know. But yeah, there is an Amazon link, but I think if you want to get the $8 off using Pounders, I think you have to go to their site. If you type in Nano Extreme, I think it's .com, but if you just type in Nano X Pain Cream or whatever, you should find the link. Voltaires of Truth, thank you for another super chat. We didn't quite make our go, guys. We didn't quite make it yet. I think there's like another hour left. We're probably not going to go on for another hour, but I'll leave that open for people if they want to do it. I probably come back on next week just because I really have enjoyed this. Nonetheless, I realize I don't have tons of subscribers yet, so to expect 50 super chats is quite a lot, I think. But you guys that were here, you did that, and I'm super grateful. That just is a blessing to us. I know that throughout all this time of doing what we do, and we try to make it, do the best we can and share what we've learned. Hopefully it's something that's been able to help you guys. I really hope so. That's the goal. And Brian, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm honored, man. And I would say this, NanoX, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't they a sponsor for SpiracyCon, man?
Yeah.
And so SpiracyCon.com, guys, let everybody know in the chat or the comments wait later on watching this. If you guys want to check out another SpiracyCon, John is planning on to having that in the Orlando area in 2026. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to it, man, because it was such a big turnout. Like you said at the beginning of the video, we've been traveling, it seems like nonstop since July or maybe around maybe late June, July. We've been traveling back and forth. Get to see a bunch of new people. And SpiracyCon was just such a blessing. There were so many people in the chat that I'm recognizing that I got to see in the flesh. So it was an amazing time. It was a really great 2 days, and I hope everybody will get to join us to the next SpiracyCon here in 2026, and that'll be coming up really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a really really cool thing in the future to look forward to, and then. I'm just glad to be back, and I'm glad to be on the channel tonight. Hit me up again, John. We'll talk this hangout, questions and answers, late night chats. I'm all about it, man. And there's just so many different things. No telling what's going to happen by next week. There could be the alien invasion card thrown out by then, the fake alien invasion. And it's just a laid back setting. I'm actually digging it. And subscribe everybody if you haven't. But yeah, check us out, SpiracyCon. We're going to be doing some renovating with the website and everything in the future, but we're looking forward to it. It's going to be such a good event. The first one was awesome, but I'm super glad and super blessed to be part of it in some shape or form, John. And
Yeah, man.
I welcome everybody back to Pounder's Quest.
You were
to
a
find the
Pounder.
truth.
You were a Pounder's Quest guest before I was Pounder's Quest, actually. on
That's
another.
right.
It wasn't even Pounder's Quest back then, but I've interviewed you before, and so yeah, I'm thankful, man, for you to being on this first one. I'm excited about it, and also Snail's World. Thank you. The question is, do you think chemtrails to block the sun so the reptilians can come up from the hollow Earth? Maybe maybe so. Like I know vampires don't like light, and I've heard stories about vampires being real. I actually interviewed a guy that claimed to have been a vampire. William Schnovlin's his name. I think the documentary's still on Amazon. You can go find it on Amazon. It's a vampire documentary. I think you could maybe if you type in my name. We went to New Orleans and interviewed one of the head vampires. I think she was like the head female vampire of New Orleans. And he was on there talking about his vampiric qualities that he was able to do when he was a vampire. And so I believe that there are vampires out there, and I think that that's kind of like a manifestation of demonic in people, because I think that you could probably classify the Watchers, or maybe, I'm sorry, the Nephilim as vampires as well. The Bible says that they're always consuming everything, wanting sacrifices and all those different things. So, there's a lot to be made from that. But yeah, it's possible. I think if there are entities that are on this earth that are physical, which I believe there are, I think there's ample evidence to suggest that anyway. Can I say for sure I've never seen a physical entity that I could grab and touch. I've had experiences with supernatural or paranormal things, but if there are, I think they are in the earth. I think that's what all the old stories say, and they could still be in there, and it's very possible. I think most of the UAPs, UFOs we see are coming from either the ocean or the earth. That's what I hear. So is there any more good questions before we go, Brian? I don't see any, but if there might be. My eyes are like by
You're
now
good. Let's
staring.
take a let's You're fine. Let's see here. People's talking about SpiracyCon. People's talking about the sun simulation. What is the name of that documentary? I don't know what they're referring to. That was a great documentary. Let's see. A lot of people are offering food trucks for our next endeavor, John. So that's pretty neat.
Nice, yeah.
And then, yeah, that's something we might be looking into for sure. Help me out, everybody, because John's going to take another question. Put it in all capitalized letters there. Throw it up in the chat. That'd be great.
Well, somebody said they had an important one, and I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
Let's see who it is. Who was it? If
Yeah,
it's important, let's
wait.
hear it. Yeah, we'll give it a
Yeah,
minute. Why
yeah,
not? I could use a
yeah,
drink of water though. I'll tell you that. So
yeah,
let's do
yeah. I
it.
would.
Get that
Me
typing
too.
hands
Me
going. Let's
too.
hear it. Pop, 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 pop. La, 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 la. So get it popping. All right.
Yeah, I mean, but while we're waiting on that, I mean, dude, we even just tell the audience a little bit. We even we experienced, even with SpiracyCon, we experienced some spiritual applications with that. I mean, we really did. There was a lot of weird. There was a few little weird quirks off and on during the whole entire time, even planning it. We
Oh,
had
the
some ups and
enemy was
downs and what
definitely
have
there. The enemy
you.
was definitely there
Yeah,
trying to like, do
yeah,
things. But it was interesting how much, even though it was there, it got shut down. Like it was just shut down. The whatever it was trying to do got yeah, there were certain times that interference would happen, but like eventually it manifested in somebody, that the demonic entity there at the conference, back in the green room where the all of the speakers, every speaker and their family was allowed to go back there to relax and eat food if they needed to. Somebody came back there to do a deliverance and ended up getting delivered themselves. They ended up having a spirit manifest majorly in a major way, and they're in there. And that after that, all the tech stopped, being wrong. Like everything was great. And unfortunately, it was toward the end of Saturday, so it was there were tech problems weren't bad though. Like nobody really even noticed except for us, so no big deal. Yep. Anyways,
I don't see the
anything?
important question. I don't see it.
I don't see it. Okay,
Um,
so
Big shout out to Cody. Big shout out to Cody in the Texas area. Cody, good seeing you, my
Cody.
friend. Yeah,
Cody's
yeah. D.
interesting. Cody
Yeah.
Cox. Cody is I spoke on one of these shows about Tartaria, I think with Guy Anderson, and I mentioned Cody in there. He used to be in the Oddfellows Lodge in Texas, and so interesting. Yeah, what's up, Cody? It's good to hear from you, man. Yeah, I got a chance to baptize you. I believe it was in either New Mexico or Arizona. You have to remind me, but I think New Mexico. And so it was great to meet you. I know you've been on Brian's show a couple times, so awesome. But anyways, guys, I don't see it. Maybe it's there, but my eyes are. You said it's there.
I don't see it either.
Okay, yeah. So my eyes are really blurry right now too from staring at the screen. So, guys, I love you guys and thank you. And I have a fresh new shows for you guys. I've got a couple shows that I cannot air on YouTube that I'm trying to figure out where do I air these. I think that I'll probably put them on nystv.org at some point. I'll definitely put them on there, but I'm thinking about what can I do on Pounder's Quest to have another way for people to watch the shows that I can't put on here. And so I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe on my Patreon, I might get that ready to go or something like that. I'll have to figure out how to do that. I don't know yet, but I do have them in the rabbit hole, I guess. I have them sitting in the rabbit hole ready to release. But I also have some that I've already done interviews that are going to be coming up that are super interesting. And then in this winter, as long as things continue to go well with this channel and it continues to be, keep growing, this winter I plan on doing a series, traveling and doing a series of interviews with people, like bringing a mobile studio and actually interviewing these people that are crazy interesting, like people that I'll be the first to interview them, but I guarantee I won't be the last. Let's put it that way. So I'm really excited to do those as well. And like I said, as long as you guys keep pumping me out, sharing me out, and sharing all this stuff out, it's going to happen. So keep it going, guys. Thank you so much. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Please hit the like button and share some of my other interviews as well. You can share this one if you want. And Barry, I see that right before we end. Barry, thank you. It says, I love your new channel. John, love to see you have Rev from Truth Unfiltered on Little Season. Tell them to contact me, and I will have anybody you guys want me to have on, as long as they have a good setup and they're not crazy to the point to where they don't put out a good show. I'll interview anybody. I'm curious. I want to know more about what other people know about these things. So anybody you guys want to have me on, you're going to probably have to harass them and tell me to contact them, and I'll try to Instagram message them or something, and you're going to have to tell them to get back to me, because I can only interview the people that'll get back to me. And believe it or not, I don't have an inside track with everybody. I don't have a Rolodex full of everybody's contact information, and I'm meeting a lot of people, but not everybody have I met yet. So please do that and send them my way. I appreciate it so much, and thank you guys. And I'm looking forward to questing with you as we quest on